Hello everyone, and welcome to one of the best sports saloons money can buy, the Jaguar XJR Vintage Year 2000. Let me surprise you with something as a start. This Jag is not a saloon. Breaking news, I know. It's so small, in fact, that it feels like a coupe.
Forget the CLS Merc. Space in here is so obnoxiously non-existent that there's not only no space for my legs, there's no space for pretty much anything in here. The back seats are terribly small, and you don't need to be Senator Schwarzenegger to find that out. I'm 6.5 feet tall, and I need to pull this seat all the way to the back, move the backrest midway horizontal in order for my head not to punch another moonroof into the ceiling. In fact, to drive this Jag, you really need to be way down low and lay back, which, come to think of it, is not necessarily a bad thing. Second observation, the extra small space inside is compensated by the extra long bonnet and the extra long and extra small trunk. This is what makes this car uber cool. The long bonnet, the long, low, sexy back, almost touching the ground. But in fact, if you try and go into a small street and make a tight turn, you'll end up looking like Laurel and Hardy from their sketch with the ladder. But isn't this all about the jagness of it all? I mean, a 3-point turn in this car turns into a 33-point turn, and yet you never feel embarrassed. Never at all. And now we get to the big one. How many horses? The 4-liter V8 in this car is mated to a 5-speed automatic transmission that sends all 370 horsepower to the rear wheels. The supercharged engine means you get mountains of torque right from the start of the rev band and a speeding ticket in very quick succession. The Cat pushes about 550 Newton meters of torque on an aluminium chassis that weighs a little over 1.8 tons. And now this is 14-year-old technology that's ready to embarrass modern-day Porsches. The creamy ZF transmission has extra long second and third gear, which means that when you push the J-gate in second, press the gas pedal into the floor, it will really test your asthma. Back to the core questions. Being a 4-door saloon means this Jag shouldn't be very impressive at cornering. And yeah, that's right, it's built mainly to go in a straight line. The suspension is set up very softly, and it evens out the road surface so well that you feel as if you're flying on a carpet. Until you start throwing it around the corners. Then, the lateral G will test your vestibular system and make your head feel soft. That's not in a good way. For drifters and sport drivers, this car really is hell. In fact, it's the epitome of the Manchester pudding. But the guys from Kokonia actually installed a Quaife limited slip differential in the car I'm driving, which means you can mentor 370 horsepower into beautiful slides. The outside styling of this Jag is both beautiful and obvious. The question is this the case with the interior? Now, to start off, you get the same key that you get with a Ford Transit van. I don't think that's exactly posh, despite Ford's interpretation of synergies in business. And to be honest, some of the panels in here are actually plastic painted to resemble wood. Now, the moment you turn your look away from commonly eyed places, or kinetic places, that's more of Ford's terminology, you'll find out that the Upholstery is not made from cow's hide, but is in fact oil byproducts. I'm happy to report, however, this is not the case with the Coconio edition. Now, the really cool thing about this Jag, this baby is a head turner. You absolutely have to have the silver asteroid wheels and avoid doing any modifications to the outside whatsoever. You'll find people give you way on crossroads as they would do with Whitebeards. But in fact what they're doing is giving themselves a chance to eyeball your Jag. And to those of you who think Whitebeards, this is a 12-year-old Jag that will outrun most Porsches. I know I said that once already, but I mean, come on, Porsche! Now back to the coolness. Take the rear view mirror. It gives you a wonderfully biased view of the outside world. Everything looks lower and wider. There's a wonderful green tint. In fact, even a Toyota Prius would look cool in your rear view mirror. In fact, the whole world looks cooler when you look at it from the inside of a Jag. But the absolute best thing about this car, when you're not feeling like a hooligan, you can cruise at highway speed in absolute calm and luxury, and then when the mood grabs you again, you can put the transmission into sport mode, disengage the traction control, and take my word for it, you'll have the most fun one possibly could without having to get naked beforehand. Now this is a car for true schizophrenics.